overnight, we've learnt that in Colorado, and albeit, it's quite a strong Democrat state, but that's not the point, it seems to me. And whether you like Donald Trump or not is neither the point. But the Supreme Court in Colorado, which is an entirely Democrat-appointed Supreme Court, have voted by 4-3, using Section 3, or their interpretation of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the US Constitution, to disbar Donald J. Trump from standing in Colorado in the next presidential election, November 2024. I mean, this is serious.
Yeah, once again, it's very, very disappointing. And you mentioned it was a 4-3 decision. So even with an entirely Democratic court, 4 of the justices on the Colorado Supreme Court thought it was a bad decision. Yeah. And one of the justices in the dissent pointed out that Donald Trump hasn't even been indicted or charged or convicted of anything related to insurrection. And, as someone that did constitutional law, I would remind the voters, the United States is a constitutional republic. It's not a majoritarian system. The Constitution is designed to protect our rights and liberties. And that 14th Amendment, Section 3, provides basically that if you're a member of Congress, a senator, a member of the military, a state office holder, that if you're involved in an insurrection, you are barred from holding office. It does not actually mention the president or the vice president, which I think is very, very telling. Additionally, so all your viewers know that the 14th, 13th, 15th Amendment were what's called the post-civil rights or Civil War amendments.
Yes.
And they were designed to protect newly freed African Americans and protect the Republic. And the reality is that statute has not been used in more than 100 years against someone running for, federal office or federal office holder. It was designed to prevent former Confederates or people that were in places like South Carolina or, the southern states from basically getting or returning to Congress or, in federal office.
Well, this is why it was chucked out in Michigan, New Hampshire, Florida. Other people have tried in states to do this and it's been rejected. I was reminded today that in 1860, this is before, of course, the American Civil War.
Joe Biden was around.
Well, he was quite old by then. Yes. But Abraham Lincoln was barred from standing in 10 of the southern states. Yeah. So this has happened before, but that happened as America was hurtling towards a catastrophic civil war. I mean, what happens now, Mark? Do other states follow Colorado?
There is a troubling trend, and what's happening is the far left in the United States and people that have been co-opted by the far left without realizing it are systematically, basically undermining and disenfranchising voters in the United States. And so it's a serious precedent. And what's happening is, as you know, and I know you've talked about this, that you have multiple criminal cases going on in both federal and state court. Yeah. And now you have all these legal challenges going on. And so essentially what they're trying to do is create within the Trump campaign and for Donald Trump a situation where he is constantly at war, battling, and it's like whack-a-mole. Where he's
and not campaigning.
Right, exactly. And so, and look, I mean, there's no such thing as a coincidence. That's, one of the, I call the Brnovich rules. And the fact, you look at the timing of this, Donald Trump was, last held elected office, more than three years ago. And the fact that now in America you have the primaries and the caucuses coming up, and he's expending, and his campaign is expending a lot of time and energy having to fight civil and criminal cases. And I just think that's what happens in banana republics or third world countries. And look, if people don't like Donald Trump, and I know people that don't,
that's fine.
Then you go to the ballot box, you make your argument on TV
But this
radio.
is a denial of democracy, isn't it?
Right. Well,
this is an outright denial of democracy.
You're fundamentally disenfranchising. So the left is always talking about, well, we want people to engage in the political process. We want to make sure people can vote. And what they're essentially doing is denying the candidate choice for half the country. And I think that if you're, like I said, wherever you fall on the political spectrum, if you believe your ideas and your values are good, then you shouldn't be afraid to debate them. What you shouldn't do is try to basically extinguish someone else's light and then say that your light is brighter.